Hi, and welcome to the latest update for my Aragami level. This update is twofold. I've been doing two things majorly. One has been adding particle and brush effects with these two throughout the village to give it a more natural feel than just the bland, straight, like almost monotone floor color. Though the areas that are more wealthy and more well maintained obviously are going to have less along the lines of these like foliage, and then the flowers in some of these like wealthy areas are still there because they're not going to be pulled up nearly as much as things like grass is going to be mowed down and rocks cleared. And with the particles, I've added some fog into this main road now to make the whole road path feel a little bit more claustrophobic and give it a little bit more of that eerie feeling. With the fireflies, I've added them to some of these like more serene or more aesthetic areas to kind of like highlight it a little bit. There's also a little bit of fog in here to kind of add to the serenity feeling. We've also got fog in like some of these larger alleyways and open spaces like over here. Also added fog, again trying to add to the claustrophobia factor and make it feel more crowded, so that these like large open areas don't feel disjointed compared to the other sections of the map. I've also added in the fireflies around both this shrine with the one here, and then also the shrine over here. And that is also one of the changes I made as I was changing up this guy's patrol route due to some of the playtesting. I wanted to give him a little bit of a wider patrol route where he goes between this shrine, praying at it here, prays over at the shrine over here, and like walks through this little like park area, and then also walks over down to this area, kind of sending him through this upper area and also through a lot of this side section here. One of the shrines was this shrine here was originally going to be in this section, but I felt like it made more sense over there. Also added in the fog as well as a couple of fireflies sections into this cemetery here, and kind of mixed up a little bit with some of them over here, kind of making it to where the edges that are closer to the wild, they have a little bit more of the fog kind of like creeping in, and adding in a lot of these like grassy areas, trying to keep them, especially in these areas here near the front where they're not going to be as well maintained, and trying to like focus it there, and then has it become a little bit more sparse, especially as you start to get towards these areas over here, except for near these two large mountains or hills, whatever you want to call these, over here in the back. And then this little section, another little aesthetic section where there's a lot of fireflies and a little bit of mist hanging around, and a lot of like flowers and greenery and like different colored shrubs. This area more or less meant to look like a just there for aesthetic purposes, to look very pleasing and very peaceful. With further playtesting, I might also add that as another spot that he travels along during his path. We'll see. Other than that, with the playtesting that I've been doing, I've been working to add some more shade to these areas. So I've added trees like here where some of the shade will hang down and come into this alleyway, even though there are these there we go. Even though there are these like lamps here that do shine light, there are still sections that are covered in the shadow from this tree and from trees around here. Basically, one of the pieces of feedback I got, also adding this these trees over here as well. One of the pieces of feedback I got were that it felt too open in a lot of areas, and it felt like there wasn't enough shade. And there's always the ability to be able to add some of these if I want to make an area a little bit more difficult. Camera does that every once in a while. But if I want to make an area a little bit more difficult, I can always add more light. But adding in a lot of foliage, trees, rocks, bushes, things like that, trying to make it feel a little bit more lived in, making it feel a little bit more natural. Goes a long way into like building the atmosphere for the level. And so that's what I've been doing, trying to decorate outside some of these houses. And with these cherry trees, I've been trying to place them. The ones that are inside of these little like planter boxes I've been more sparing with, but the ones that are outside of them, I've been placing these a little bit more, but also still trying to keep the aesthetic of them being purposefully planted in locations. So these come in like a line here, and you have line here, and you have these ones that are mostly behind these houses, trying to give it a more purposeful feel, make it feel like this place was uh, that the people living here had an intent for how they wanted things to look. But yeah, through the next rounds of playtesting I'll be doing, there's surely some more things that'll be tweaked slightly. For now, I'll hop in game and run around a little bit on this right side, because in the other updates I was mostly around here. So I'll run around a little bit over on the right side of the map. To give you a better idea of what the area is like. And over here I have also added the section where it makes it a little bit easier to get up on the roofs here. So you can kind of scout out a little bit easier. See where that main target is at a given time. Currently looks like he's in the section of his patrol that sends him over this way. See if I can find him. Oh, there he was. Yeah. If you have any input, any advice, any criticisms, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day.